And we are live from South Carolina in the United States. Welcome back, everyone, to Priceless Takes, episode 47. I'm your host, Luka Price, and joining me today, once again, is the NFL guru himself, David Price. David, how are you today?
Luka, I'm confused. This NFL season is absolutely crazy. Okay? It's the hardest year in 20 years I've been tipping, right? And it's the hardest year I have seen. It is absolute madness what's going on.
Yeah, well, I think you summed it up perfectly when we saw what happened last night on Thursday night. The New England Patriots with an upset over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Granted, with the backup Mitchell Trubisky, but David, it was funny about this game because the line for this game was, I believe it was 31 points or 30 points. I think it was 30 and a half points. It was the lowest line for an NFL game since 2005, and they eclipsed that line before the first half even ended. So a lot of people lost some money last night. I know you weren't one of them, but just an interesting thing to note about that game. And the Patriots put a win, which the Steelers lost now.
I
David,
thought
the Steelers.
I can't believe the Jaguars got beat. Seriously, your man, you rate Trevor Lawrence, right?
He was injured. He got hurt.
Yeah, I know, but they still should have won. If you
Yeah.
got a haircut, right? They carry.
Listen, David. We're not here to talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars. Not right now, at least.
Episode went way too long. There's so much to talk about. Was what's going
There,
on?
Look, there is a lot to talk about, but I will say one thing about the Steelers. This loss makes it very interesting for the rest of the teams in the AFC, Dave, because your Bills have a better chance now to make the playoffs. My Broncos have a better chance to make the playoffs with this loss. The Steelers are the first ever team, David, to be over 500 on the season and to lose to two teams in back-to-back weeks who are both under 500.
You,
That's how bad this loss was for them
you
last night.
Steelers are terrible. You know that.
Yeah.
I've bet against them all year.
On offense, they're terrible. I'll asterisk that.
I've won a lot of money off the Steelers this year. Right? Back in they're no good.
Listen, well, let's talk about some good teams, David. Let's talk about some good teams.
If McDermott can take, because Josh can win a Super Bowl, and if McDermott gets them to a Super Bowl, I'll look like an idiot.
Yeah, you will. But look, David, we'll talk about Sean McDermott and the Buffalo Bills in our second segment, but we will get to the top of it and talk about some good teams. When Philadelphia travels to Dallas, Texas for Sunday Night Football, David. The Eagles come into this game 10-2. The Cowboys at 9-3.
I'll jump on a plane now. Do you want to go and watch the game together? Seriously.
Oh, listen, if you jumped on a plane now, yeah, I guess you'd make it in time.
Favorite season in the whole of America.
Listen, well, look, one thing's for certain, David. This game is going to be an absolute cracker of a game. The stakes have never been higher for these two teams.
For all the viewers, Eagles will win.
Well, listen, David, we haven't quite got there yet because that is not what the Eagles did last week. They got lost to the 49ers 42-19, while Dallas on Thursday night came away with a 41-35 victory where Dak Prescott was 29-41 for 299 yards and 3 touchdown passes. Hurts in his game on the weekend, 26-45 for 298 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 picks. Season low 57.8% completion, David. Season low for Jalen Hurts. The Cowboys have won 14 straight at home. Dak Prescott leads the entire NFL in touchdown passes with 26 touchdown passes on the season. 6 of his 7 last games, David, since they lost to the 49ers, 6 out of his 7 last games, he has had a quarterback rating of 100 plus since that loss to the 49ers. Not to mention, the Dallas Cowboys have a top 5 defense in the NFL. I know you have Philadelphia to win this week, but I'll read out some stats for you, and I know that I have major question marks about their defense, but they are the worst defense on third down percentage. They are a bottom 5 defense against the pass. They've given up the 3rd most touchdown passes this season. They're also a bottom 5 red zone defense. Now, the one thing they do have is a good run defense, but like I said, that did not show last week. However, the Eagles on the offensive side did have 100 yards rushing against Dallas in their Week 9 matchup. So, to bring this to before I ask you your question, David.
Here, give me the finger now.
Before I ask you the question of who's going to win, I know who's going to win. I know who you think's going to win. I want to hear why. But if the Eagles lose this game on Sunday, they will be tied with Dallas and the 49ers for the number 1 seed in the NFL and the division with the Dallas Cowboys. And if they win this game, they will practically beat Dallas for the division and nearly lock in the 1 seed, assuming what happens at the 49ers. So, David Price, who wins this game and by how much and why? I want to hear it all.
Eagles win. Hurts is going to stand up and win. Prescott, as you know, is flawed. Done. Done. It's all over.
Well, I saw Dak Prescott put Tom Brady into retirement last year. So, what do you think about that?
And you know, I think Tom is the greatest of all time. About the only bloke better looking in the world than me is Tom, right? And he's a star. Prescott,
well, listen, is it going to be close? Are you giving the Cowboys a chance, or the Eagles just going to go in there and drop 40 points on them? Like, come on, put your money where your mouth is.
Brain them.
Well, personally, David, I think that's a very shallow take from you. And I think after what happened to them at the 49ers last week.
I've been shallow in our 20-year relationship, okay?
Well, can I tell you why?
They'll win. I'm telling you, they're going to blow them away.
Okay.
I'll look at the line right now because I reckon they'll cover the line. There you go.
I think Dallas should be favourite in this game.
They are. They're massive.
They should be.
They are. I'm looking right now. All right, Dallas Cowboys are $1.50 and Eagles are $2.60, right? And the line is do you know what?
What? 0.5.
When you come back home or I come back over there to live, the line is 3.5. That is ridiculous.
Okay. Well, do you want to hear what I have to say about this game? Because I think you're completely wrong about the way you're looking at this game.
Who's better at tipping, me or you?
Well, we had this discussion last week, and in the big games, you crumble and I rise to the top. That's what we learnt last week. That's just the reality. That's just the reality of the situation, David. I'm actually in the process of creating my little compilation video of all the times I've been right. So you're just giving me more fuel now at this point.
Well, Eagles win, but the line's bullshit. Sorry.
Listen, look. At the end of the day, I saw Dak Prescott was 2 inches from staying in bounds from beating the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia. That's what I saw.
Radar.
Sorry?
Right? He's no good. Look, he's good, but he can't win a Super Bowl. He'll fold.
Maybe, but he doesn't normally fold in the regular season. And statistically, Dak Prescott plays some of his best football against the Philadelphia Eagles amongst teams throughout his career. He has a positive record against the Eagles. He has a positive record against Jalen Hurts. He's won 14 straight games at home. Dallas have also had an extra 10 days of rest compared to Philadelphia, who got absolutely destroyed on their home turf. Then they have to travel to Dallas on a relatively short week for them compared to Dallas, who have had the full day's rest. Not to mention, we talk about the Eagles' schedule, David. They've played all these things. They've played Miami, Kansas City, Buffalo, San Francisco, and now Dallas in back-to-back weeks. Now, listen, I heard Nick Sirianni today, the Philadelphia Eagles coach, talk about how sometimes you've got to drag your team through the mud, and that's going to make you stronger. And I really like to hear that from the Philadelphia coach, and I completely agree with him. And I think Philadelphia needs to get dragged through the mud a bit. But I'm telling you that this Dallas Cowboys team at home is very, very hard to beat. And the Eagles need a confidence booster, which they're not going to get. I personally, David...
Okay, all right. Eagles will win this week, okay? But they won't win the Super Bowl, okay?
Well, I disagree with the Eagles are going to win this week. I actually don't think this game is going to be close.
The last hurrah.
Where'd you go, David? I annoy you too much with my good takes.
Someone's ringing my doorbell. But anyway,
Listen, David, I look at this matchup. Okay, David.
you.
Sorry?
Let's just move on, right? Eagles win.
I don't
I,
I don't want to move on because the Eagles are not winning this game. And I hate to tell you that, but they're not winning this game. And I actually don't think it's going to be particularly close when I look at this matchup. The Cowboys were inches away from beating them in Philadelphia. They are out for revenge against an Eagles team who is reeling right now. They got the brakes beat off of them last week. You are not about to tell me that after getting the absolute brakes beat off of them by the 49ers, they are going to travel to Dallas to a team that has won 14 straight games at home and just absolutely brainwash them when all I've seen from the Dallas Cowboys at home this year is they stand up at home and with the exception of last week against Geno Smith, who had the game of his life against the Cowboys and hung 35 on them, they have been dominant at home. No one has even come close to beating them this year. And I think it's going to be the same. Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb are playing like the best wide receiver quarterback duo in the entire NFL right now. You can take Hurts and Brown if you want, but they're getting too pass crazy. The Eagles need to run the ball. They need to stop the Dallas run, but they can't stop the pass. And Dallas can beat you with the passing game. And I think they should have beat them against Philadelphia in week 9. I don't think this game is going to be close. I have the score 32-20 Dallas, and I do not think the Eagles are even going to be competitive in this game because they barely beat them at Dallas. Last time Jalen Hurts came to Dallas, I saw him throw a pick six, and I don't think it's going to get any better for him.
And you see how the Eagles win, and you are so wrong. Okay?
Sure. Well, listen, all I know is I tend to be right in big games, and this is as big as it gets between these two division rivals. I don't really see. I can see a scenario where the Eagles win, but I don't think Dak Prescott's going to fold. I like what I like.
Yeah.
Sorry?
You flip-flopping.
What I agree with you. I agree with you in the playoffs. This is the regular season, David. Just like we don't see Lamar fold too often in the regular season, but we know what he comes to in the playoffs. I have the same opinion with Dak Prescott, but I saw Dak Prescott. At least I saw Dak Prescott go into Tampa Bay and beat a Tom Brady who was asking to be kicked into retirement. Okay, I've seen Lamar throw playoff games away. Dak Prescott last 2 years, Dak Prescott has lost to two extremely good. No, this same San Francisco 49ers defense. He's lost to them 2 years in a row. Now, that's not an indictment on Dak Prescott for losing to that defense.
You know what? I've always said Lamar's arm is no good, right? But they are a chance to win the Super Bowl this year.
Listen, I'm taking the Cowboys in this game, and when Monday comes around and we debate this again, I will replay this clip for you to hear about how right I will be once again.
Eagles win. Move on.
The Eagles need this loss. They're going to get this loss. Cowboys are going to give it to them, and I can't wait to see your reaction because I think you underestimate how good the Dallas Cowboys are at home.
Well, if you go to university or college, as they call it, in Dallas, I'd actually move there because
listen,
I love Dallas. One of the best cities in America I've ever been to. Unbelievable. The people are so right. So I'm sorry, Eagles just win.
Look, the Eagles don't just win. Well, I think you said the Eagles just win last week too, and that didn't happen. So I'm not really going to take your credibility on the Eagles because you're going to probably call me up on Sunday like you did last week and ask to change your tip to Dallas, knowing you. So I'm just gonna take it.
You dogged me on that.
I'm just going to take it at face value. But listen, David, there's one game I think you will be sure about, and this is the other big matchup this week, in my opinion, when the Buffalo Bills travel to Kansas City, a familiar venue for them. So many crushing playoff losses, but so many regular season wins. Josh Allen is 2-1 against Patrick Mahomes in the regular season, so he knows how to beat him in the regular season, which I will give him credit. But they are coming off the bye week. They have flown under the radar with everything that's happened last week. The last time we saw Josh Allen on the field, he nearly beat that Philadelphia team that's been asking to get beat for a couple of weeks now. He had 420 combined yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception in that game against Philadelphia at Philadelphia. Meanwhile, Patrick Mahomes is coming off one of his worst games of the season, losing to the Packers on Monday Night Football. He was 19 of 27 for 151 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick in the loss to Jordan Love. David, a Chiefs loss here is going to probably put them out of the 1 seed race. A Bills loss would probably put them out of the playoffs. So there's so much at stake for both of these teams. And when I look at the stats this year, both the quarterbacks have been pretty similar in terms of the numbers they've put up. So where do you see this game? Where do you see this game going?
I'll tell you something, right?
Please.
Patrick Mahomes is no Tom Brady. Okay?
Who is Tom Brady? Who is Tom Brady?
Michael Jordan, right? The GOAT. Tom Brady, the GOAT. Patrick Mahomes, he's a decent player, but he's just not there. Right? Allen wins this game, and they can win the Super Bowl.
Really? The Bills can win the Super Bowl? That's what...
McDermott just throws me totally off. He mad.
Okay. Well, listen, I'll read some stats to you about Patrick Mahomes, which I find very interesting, Dave. Did you know that after a loss in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes is 16-3 in his NFL career after suffering a loss, which is the best record all time for a minimum of 15 games played by a quarterback. So we know that Patrick Mahomes, we should be expecting something big out of him, because 16-3 after a loss is nothing to shy about. Not to mention, David, in those games, his team has a point differential of plus 10.1 points in those games. And Mahomes also in those games is 48 touchdowns to 16 interceptions all time. Now, do I think the Chiefs are going to win this game? Absolutely not. And I do not think the Chiefs are going to win this game. And the irony about this game, David. David, the irony.
Are you getting on my man Josh's bandwagon?
David, the irony.
No. Are you getting on my man Josh?
Well, if you let me finish, I'll answer. So can I finish?
Yes.
The irony of this game, David, is that Josh Allen is going to win this game, and he is going to make everyone jump back on the bandwagon, on the Bills bandwagon. But then he's going to go to LA next week and absolutely stink it up against the Chargers and remind everyone why the Bills are no good. And that's what I love about Josh Allen is he's going to play great against Patrick Mahomes. They're going to win this game. I have them winning 27-20 by a touchdown because I don't think the Chiefs offense has it in them to score more than really 24, 25 points in a game. But Josh Allen is going to win this game.
Out and absolutely star.
Yeah, I know. And then he's going to absolutely stink it up the next week and throw 3 picks like he did against the Jets and absolutely have a howler and remind everyone why the Bills are who they are.
No, they're not. If McDermott didn't coach them, they're the greatest certainties I've ever seen in a Super Bowl, ever.
Well, the reality of the situation, David, is McDermott is the coach of the Buffalo Bills. I hate to break that to you. So obviously that changes it from the perspective of winning the Super Bowl. But realistically, I think that the Bills match up well against the Kansas City Chiefs, at least in the regular season. Josh Allen's 0-2 against Mahomes in the playoffs. So,
I mean, the Texans are $41.
Oh, we're not talking about the Texans right now. I want to know, why do you actually think the Bills are going to win this game? Is it just Josh versus Patrick, or is there something? Do you think, what else is there going on for you?
I've been saying all year, okay? I got bloody hurt wrong last year, dropped the ball, okay? I'm right every year, and you know it. Okay? There's no better judge in the NFL than me. Right? My statistics are about 83% or something, and people win money every week. Josh is a massive talent, but McDermott can't coach. I say it every week, right? Honestly, I wish Tom would ring Josh and say, hey, mate, I'll help you out.
Oh, well, he tried to do that, and Josh Allen didn't want it. I'm surprised you didn't hear that news.
I can't say mate in America because no one will understand it. Hey, bud. Let's have a coffee.
Yeah, Tom Brady tried to give some advice to Josh Allen, and Josh Allen basically said, stuff it. So, You must have missed that news. That happened about 2 weeks ago. So that says all you need to know about Josh Allen, does it?
Can you send me that article?
Yeah, sure. I'll look it up. I can look it up right now for you. You can keep talking about how the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl.
I actually think the Texans are going to win. What are
So
they?
you think, okay, well, look.
Because you know what? This season's so open, okay? And if a rookie's going to win it, it's CJ. He is so talented. Oh, he's. Ugh. It's the hardest year I've seen in 20. There you go. I'll tell you one thing. For everyone listening out there, the Houston Texans are $1.50 to beat the New York Jets. Okay? Now, as you know, my theory on gambling, right, is that most Americans take the spread. $1.50 is 50% interest on your money in 3 hours, 2.5, 3, whatever, right? It's just the easiest money ever.
Well, listen, for what it's worth, I think I agree that the Texans are going to beat the Jets.
Inheritance on it. There you go.
Sorry?
I should put your inheritance on it.
Yeah, all right. You can go for it. I reckon the Texans. If the Texans can't go what they're doing right now and go stink it up against New York. But David, we have seen the Jets defense shut down some quarterback season. You can't deny that. They shut down Jalen Hurts. They shut down Patrick Mahomes. They shut down Josh Allen. They shut down. Who else did they shut down? Maybe that's it. That's the. Oh,
Texans.
No, those three.
I'd rather back them than my Bills. And you know I love the Bills, but I'd rather back the Texans right now.
Well, listen.
Have you seen their run? They've got the next 5 games. They'll win every one of them.
Yeah.
Right? I'm telling you, they're a massive chance to win the Super Bowl.
Well, how do you think
if you were 21, we'd be in Vegas. I still might go, but I'd rather you come with me. But seriously, they're going to make a monster run. They're...
Well, listen, they lost their second best wide receiver for the season last week, so I am interested to see how they do play without him because he was one of CJ Stroud's favorite targets, Tank Dell, also a rookie who is entering the league this season. So he still has his number 1 and his number 3, and he's still got his weapons for the most part. So that'll be an interesting adjustment, I think. But David, you can't deny the fact that we have seen Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes throw 3 interceptions each against this New York Jets defense. That's just facts. So while I think...
That's why I come back to I don't like McDermott coaching Josh, right?
Well, Patrick Mahomes threw 3 interceptions too, so do you not like Andy Reid coaching him either? You don't like Nick Sirianni coaching Jalen Hurts? He threw 3 interceptions against the Jets defense too. Okay, what's your point?
My point is Mahomes is... Yeah, he's a star.
A 2-time Super Bowl champion.
No,
That's what he is.
A star. Okay, don't get me wrong. But he's not... And you know I love Tom. And he's not Tom. Tom just keeps getting it done. Right?
Yeah, well, listen, Mahomes isn't my favourite player either, but I think it's easy to hate on him after he, you know...
Coach, right? And you're going to absolutely have a conniption over this. He's in Tom Brady's league.
No, he's not. David, stop it.
Please.
Is. David, you're making a fool of yourself. I really want to just try help you out. You're making an absolute fool out of yourself right now.
All right, well, I'm telling
I understand the little blue shirt and the blue glasses to try and match with the Bills' colours, but it's just not happening today.
the Texans win the Super Bowl. Okay, they're $51.
How do you see the Texans matching up against the 49ers? That's my question.
I'm telling you, it's a strange year. Okay, so there's outsiders win once in a blue moon. They'll win.
Yeah, you didn't answer my question. I said, how do you see them matching up against the 49ers? Because the matter of the fact is, David, D'Amico Ryan's the head coach of the Houston Texans, was on the 49ers staff last year, so they would know them inside and out.
49ers defense is insane. You know that, right?
Well, and you know who has been leading that defense for the past 2 years was D'Amico Ryans, who is now the head coach in Houston. So realistically, even if they got to the Super Bowl, I don't see a scenario where the assistant becomes the master and beats Kyle Shanahan when it matters most. I don't see that scenario happening. I think that would be too good of a matchup for San Francisco if they got the assistant.
That's why I think. I'm just saying, it's very rare that an outsider can come from where they're going to come from. Have you seen their draw?
Yes, David, I've seen the draw. You've asked me this 3 times.
Yeah, well, I'll ask you again. Have you seen the draw?
I've seen the draw. We talked about it numerous times. And the Texans could be looking for a home playoff game the way that Trevor Lawrence is a game time decision for the Jags, but the way that he's been injured and could be affected, the Houston Texans have a legitimate shot to get a home playoff game, which would be a very interesting scenario.
I'm going to put it out there right now. The Texans win the Super Bowl, and you heard it here. I think it's the 9th of December. What is it, 8th of the year?
Yeah. 8th of December over here in South Carolina, and I'll be the first to tell you that it will not work, and you're getting too trigger happy on the Texans hype train, and they're going to come down eventually.
No.
All right.
Disagree.
I'm just saying. If I was a Houston Texans fan, I'd be feeling nervous for the wild card weekend. That's all I'm saying.
They are going to win, mate. Sorry.
Well, listen. Well, let's put it this way, David. David, let me ask you this question. Let's put it this way. Say Houston Texans, they do manage to get a home playoff game, and Josh Allen wins out.
They will win out.
Can you let me ask you my question, please? You're doing a whole lot of talking, not a whole lot of listening. And this question, I think, is actually going to make you think properly about what I'm about to ask you.
Righto, whatever.
David, we could very likely see a scenario because of the Houston Texans schedule. They do win out, which if that happens, I think that puts them above Jacksonville and puts them into a home playoff game.
There's no question.
Now,
I don't know why you are even considering that. They finished number 1 seed. Okay.
Okay, they're not finishing as the 1 seed, but they're going to get a home playoff game if they win out. Okay, David, my question to you is, what don't you understand about what I'm saying?
Look, you get yourself in a pigeonhole and you don't see the big picture of stuff.
Okay.
Who do you think's going to win?
The 49ers.
Which I tipped at the start of the season.
Okay, fantastic. You're not tipping them right now, so make up your mind. You can't have 2 picks, David.
Well, you had 5.
Well, I've had 2 picks because my quarterback got injured. Now, I can't do anything about that. We've been through this. Someone's calling him. That's all right. Listen, David, if you let me answer you, I'm going to ask you a question.
Sorry, who got the World Cup right?
Oh, the World Cup, David. We don't care about the World Cup right now. That's ancient history. The World Cup, all right? The stars aligned for Messi to win, and that's what happened. But if you're going to let me ask you a question, finally, without interrupting me, if the Houston Texans win out and Josh Allen wins out and Josh Allen travels to Houston for a playoff game, who wins? Because that's a scenario. That is a scenario that could realistically happen.
That's the question you've ever asked me, right? Because you know that you love Joe and I love Josh.
Josh Allen! Josh Allen versus CJ Stroud in Houston. Who wins in a playoff game? Answer me right now. How good do you think the Texans really are?
They're good.
So they're going to beat Josh Allen in the playoff game?
Yes, I you know why? Because McDermott.
Okay. That's all I needed to hear.
All right, you heard it here first.
Well, the last time Josh Allen played in Houston in the playoff game, he absolutely stunk it up. So it probably wouldn't surprise me if that happened again, if they did play in the playoffs. But that would just be Josh's fault, not McDermott, because, that's just tough.
Article about Tom and Josh.
I'll share it with you after the podcast. But listen, David, that is all we have time for today with this week's. Sorry?
Good to talk to you.
Likewise, that is all for Priceless.
Can you just, honestly, right? The Texans are the greatest certainties ever. Right? And so the Baltimore Ravens. So for anyone...
they play in the same conference, so I don't... Oh, you're talking about this weekend?
Yeah. So they're $1.76 in the all-up, right? Just get on.
Yeah. Well, look, if the Ravens lose to the Rams at home, I'd be a bit concerned. But
you got no idea. I'm telling you, I know him a lot. Yeah, I'm having as many picks as you. There you go.
Well, at least you admit it. But I only had 2 picks, and I was forced into submission with Joe Burrow getting injured.
Ravens have some chance this year.
Listen, David, I agree. We can talk about that at a different time, but that is all we have time for today, ladies and gentlemen. For Priceless Takes episode 47, make sure to check us out on our social media. We have Instagram, we have YouTube, we have TikTok, also on Spotify if you're not watching it currently through Spotify right now. David, thank you for joining me. We will see how these games turn out this weekend, and I will see you on Monday.
Can't wait, Luka.
That is all for Priceless Takes episode 47. I am your host, Luka Price, and we will see you next time.